I'm Susie Radke. We have Uinta Alpacas and we're shearing today, 50 head. I worked at Oklahoma State when my husband was getting a doctorate in the 80s. And that's when the first alpacas were coming to the country, and some of the animals that came on one of the imports stayed at Oklahoma State, and I fell in love.
I'm Jared Livingston. I'm a professional alpaca shearer. I started shearing by buying a llama that I wanted to use as a pack animal. After purchasing her, I needed to shear her and a few others that I bought with her. One thing led to another. We bought shears and sheared the whole herd.
We've been in the alpaca business for 5 years. We raise the alpacas for their fiber, for yarn.
You know, I've always liked the fiber part of it. Even from when I was a young kid, I remember in class we'd have demonstrations by hand spinners. And I think that's where I grew my interest from it originally.
When we shear, we divide the herd in by color. So we usually start with white, working to the darker color. We first weigh the animals and then make sure their fleeces are as clean as possible. Then they're brought into the barn and they're laid down in the shearing hobble and sheared. And the fleeces, the nicer fleeces, we collect them specially and we noodle them so that we can process them later easier. And then the fleeces that aren't as nice a quality, we just bag.
I grew up in the sheep business, so I was familiar with shearing. A little different back then, though. We sheared a couple thousand head, and it was mainly guys from Australia and New Zealand. You didn't see a lot of American shearers back then. You don't see a lot of American shearers now. I've never shaved my beard. This is 5 years. It stopped growing. Now all that energy that goes into growing my beard is now right here in my head. That's the theory, anyways.